We've all heard stories about Karens, but have we heard stories about Karens on the first day of work? Well, that's what I'm here to present to you.
I don't think I love you no more. You never seem to call me lately, but I don't think she knew me at all.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gentleman Jax, and as you can see, we're doing something a little bit different. I've got my green screen all set up. I'm still working on configuring it and everything. There's little green screen bits here and there, and I'm still like, whoa, my hand keeps disappearing and appearing again. But what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to be able to tell you guys some stories. It's going to be a great time, and I welcome you to this new series I hope to jumpstart called Firesides with Jax. Anyways, before we give this story started, I wanted to give two shout outs real quick. My top hat was given to me by CrystalBlue122. She does a great job on her videos, also known as Lady Ginny. And this tie right here, this royal blue tie. In all of my fan art, I've been drawn with a blue tie, but not that Barney, or No Context VR, he bought me this tie on stream, and I think it looks super great, matches my channel quite nicely, and I think it's super fun. Anyways, back to the story. So to set the story up and to set the stage, I used to work as what was called a courtesy clerk for a small little grocery outlet. You've probably never heard of it. It's called Kroger. And when I was doing that, basically my job was any of the dirty work that no one else wanted to do. It was great. Well, honestly, I'm actually really grateful for the job because it taught me a lot of skills, like, working with customers and how to deal with people, and how to manage tasks and work in, somewhat stressful environments because there's tons and tons of people going around. But it also creates some fantastic stories. And I'm going to be telling you guys a story of the first day I went into work. The first day. Now, here's the thing about working at a place like Kroger. You get basically, you get training, right? You get training. But the only training you really get is going to be through experience. You are not ready for anything that is to befell you. And I barely had an idea what I was doing. I was just bagging groceries, doing my thing. It was already a super busy day because the store actually just opened. And so, I'm doing my thing, and it's my first time. I'm introducing myself to all my colleagues, and I'm trying to create friendly relationships with people, so that way, I don't have at least a horrible time at work. And the next thing you know when you just look over and you spot it with the glint of your eye. You're just sitting there, or standing for my case, and you're just bagging groceries, you're putting the vegetables in, you're putting the fruit in, whatever, right? And you see just a short-haired lady, specifically a Karen, start to get into your line. Well, I'll tell you, in retail and working at a grocery store, that is known as fear. Literal fear. And you notice, like, she's got, like, two little kids or something, or I don't know, maybe they're crying, whatever, and she gets into the line, okay? And I'm just like, alright, like, I didn't feel something great about this one. And, most customers are actually pretty good. You take care of them, they go along their way, no problems, whatever, right? But it was a busy day. And Karen had to be super entitled. And, her with her short hair and Karen hair, Karen look, I just was like, okay, here we go. First hard customer, I still barely know what I'm doing, but you know what? We don't crush the bread, right? When we put groceries in the bag, we don't crush the bread, okay? And so one of the things I really tried to work on was, to really be friendly with the customers and be like, hey, how are you doing today? And I always wanted to do that because I wanted to look good for my supervisors. I wanted to make a good first impression because, again, it was my first day. And so Karen shows up, and she's got two little kids, and you know what? I go up to her cart, and I start helping her unload her cart. And I greet her, I say, how are you doing? And she just, I'm flashing her a smile. It's you know, for the first shift, it kind of felt a little long because it was just a lot of work. I'm about 3 hours in, and you know, I tell her like I'm doing fantastic, you know, when she asks how I'm doing. But when I ask how she is doing, she just looks at me, just with these dead eyes, these dead Karen eyes, and it's just like, my day is terrible. And then she says like, yeah, and help me with the cart, go faster. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, okay, like, you know, I'm just being the happy, cheery little Jax, you know, taking the things, putting them on the thing with the conveyor belt to get to the cash register. I don't know what that's called. And I'm just doing my thing, right? And Karen is just like kind of like barking orders. And you know, the cashier, she was a really, really nice lady. I don't remember who the cashier was. I just remember she was cool. And the cashier tells the lady to like calm down a little bit, you know, because she's starting to yell a little bit. And you know, she's barking orders. This Karen is barking orders at me. And then the Karen says, fine, I will do it myself if you're gonna be so slow. And I'm like, okay, like I wasn't being slow. I promise. I was moving pretty quick. I was moving as fast as I can. She tells me to get away from the cart. And so I do that, and I just decide to take care of the bags, make sure they're all ready to go when I need a bag of groceries. And then she's got like this couple wine bottles in there because of course Karens need their red wine to survive, right? And she picks up the red wine, and I kid you not, she's having a super rough day. I feel bad for her, but she picks up the wine, and then it slips out of her hand because she grabs it by the stem, and it slips out of her hand and right onto the concrete floor, and the bottle just shatters. You know, it's over, right? The bottle is gone, okay? And there's red wine all over the floor. Mind you, I was at the end of the cashier register line, you know, fixing up the bags and everything, and she was right next to the cash register, right? I was not involved because she told me to go away and stop helping her bag her groceries, right? And so I'm sitting here, you know, not being involved, and I notice that she has the red wine is all over the floor. And so naturally, I'm like, okay, you know, hey, we're sorry about that, you know, we'll go take care of it. Don't worry about it. And that's what I tell her, and I talk to someone, and they go and head off and grab a mop, right? And then this Karen looks at me, and she's like, you did this. You know, she points at me, you did this. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, what did I do? Like, I was just like, at first I was just in shock. Because, like, this was, like, my first bad customer. It's my first day on the job. And they teach you, like, the basic procedures and the rules and everything, but they never teach you how to deal with bad customers, right? And I'm just like, okay, like, what's going on? Like, I didn't do it. And she's just, you did this, you know, you stupid kid. And I'm just like, okay, like, I'm sorry about that, you know, we'll get it fixed up. We'll get you a new wine bottle. It's okay, you know, please, it's okay, you know? And then she says, she speaks this famous lines heard from every Karen ever. I want to speak to your manager. And so I flagged down the current manager at the time, and, well, yeah. I flagged down the current manager at the time, and I'm sweating bullets, because I haven't met this one, and I'm like, I don't know about this. And so my manager comes over, and this, and I try to explain the situation, and Karen butts in, okay? Karen butts in, and my manager was, oh man, super awesome. We'll call her Beth, okay? We'll call my manager Beth at the time. And Beth was really cool, and had always been my favorite manager all the way until the time I quit. And Beth, you know, I'm this 17-year-old kid, nervous as heck. And Beth listens to the customer's complaint, listens to the Karen say, your courtesy clerk dropped the wine and it shattered all over the floor, and it's your fault. You know, whatever, her Karen spill. And then the cashier counters and says, he wasn't even handling the wine, you know, in fact, Karen told Derek to back off, you know? And I'm sitting here, I'm like, it's true, you know, I wasn't touching the wine, I wasn't there. And then the Karen's like, yeah, you were. And then my manager, Beth, just looks at the three of us actually, and she looks at the Karen, and she says, you know, that kid, you know, that's his first day on the job. He's just a 17-year-old kid, and you want to ruin his first day? I trust him more than you. And I'm like, what? Like, dang! And the cashier's like, what? And the Karen gets so steaming hot, you know, full of rage. And it's like, but you dropped the wine bottle. And the cashier is like, well, why don't we just go look at the tapes? And then all of a sudden, you know, and the supervisor's like, yeah, we could just look at the security footage. And like, all of a sudden, the Karen is just drawn out with fear. Just, her face just goes red, right? And all of a sudden, she's like, no, we don't need to do that. Let's have a great day. Friendly and fresh. That's the slogan, right? Yeah, that's the slogan on the back here, guys. This t-shirts, right? You know, and she's just in fear. You know, she totally went from, like, angry Karen gonna strangle you to, like an angelic customer. And she offered to even like help clean it up, and one of the other courtesy clerks grabbed the mop, and we took care of it. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like kind of shocked by everything that happened, and I'm like, okay, like oh, that was my first day at work, and it was crazy that I had encountered this Karen. She had immediately blamed me, and then my awesome supervisor, who you'll probably hear more stories about, just backed me up. It was nuts. But resolution of the story: when a Karen targets you, sometimes people will have your back in retail, you know, and they'll know what it's like to deal with a crappy customer. And even if it's your first day, sometimes they might have your back and they'll be super cool. Other times they can be total butts, but yeah, no, that's another story. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that first story. It's actually the second story I've told here on the channel, but I really hope you enjoy it. And, you know, leave a like, leave me a comment telling me what you think. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. Tell me if you want more stories, because I got loads of them. I have a document full of stories from school and from work and stuff like that. So do let me know. I really hope you enjoy Firesides with Jex, or whatever I'm calling it at this point. I don't even know. And you know what? I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and drop over in the Discord, and maybe even follow me on Twitch. I don't know, I live stream. But make sure to have a fantastic day. I've been Gentleman Jex, and I'm out.